You are dying. Not someday, right now, this very minute. Every breath you take is one that you're never going to get back. And yet most people live like they have all the time in the world. Well, guess what? They don't. You don't either. That's why today we're going to face the harsh truth. Not to be afraid of it, but to finally wake up to it. To understand that we only have so long on this earth. Our time is very limited. We are but a breath. You are simply the blink of an eye, and then you're done. Once you begin to understand that, that's when you can start to change your life. That's when you can start to move out of the discomfort that you're feeling, the thoughts of feeling hopeless or trapped, stuck, unable to move forward. This is one of the things that if you embrace it, you really embrace it, it can begin to change your life. The Stoics would focus on this constantly. Every day they would focus on the idea that they are mortal. They only have so much time left on the earth. What are they going to do with that time? How are they going to live their life based on this concept that tomorrow I might not be here? So the concept that we're going to understand here is that life is breathtakingly brief. We're going to take the time to recognize our fragility and understand that the opportunity that we're living right now can come with greater depth and purpose, or we can continue to struggle how we are through the rest of our life. This isn't meant to cause despair, to make you feel hopeless or like you've missed out on anything in life. It's to help awaken urgency within you. It's to help show you that you can still change who you are right now and live a life worth living, a life of meaning and purpose. Having reverence for each day and the courage to move on in the way that you want to move on, the way that you want to live life. You have that option. You have that ability. The problem is that most of us go through life thinking that it's not going to end. Not unless you have some sort of experience that, boom, snaps you out of, this waking dream that you're constantly living and realize that, whoa, that was a close one. Maybe I need to rethink my life. Maybe I need to rethink how I'm living. But we shouldn't have to wait for an event like that to happen to begin to change who we are, to begin to show up to life differently. We shouldn't have to wait for those events to rock our world and remind us of our mortality, how fragile we are, that at any moment we could be gone. At any moment, it could be your last moment. You might take your last breath at any point in time. This is a hard message to hear. This probably is making you uncomfortable. You probably want to turn away from this video and this message and this channel because this is a difficult concept to grapple with, to deal with, to allow yourself to think about and understand. But if you do that, you're going to continue to just go living your life the way that you've been living your life. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. There's no judgment. The question is, do you want to continue living the life that you're living? Do you want to continue going down the road that you're going down? If you're living a life of frustration, of stagnation, of feeling like you're not moving forward, you're not the person that you know that you could be, then maybe you need to stay and listen to this. Maybe you need to stay and accept what it is that I'm saying and think about it and consider it. Take the time to really allow it to sink in to the conscious layers and levels of your being so that you can experience the truths of our reality. Everything is impermanent. Everything dies. Everything passes away. It all ends at some point. And the truth is, when it does end, you're probably not going to be remembered. As much legacy as you try to build, you probably won't be remembered. Not for long. You'll be remembered in the short term, but the long term, you're not going to be remembered. But what does that matter? It doesn't. It doesn't matter. You'll be dead. So what does it matter? Yeah, we've constantly tried to create some sort of legacy, positioning ourselves in a way where our soul lives on through the work that we've done here on earth. And it's admirable. It's great if you can do that and you can leave a lasting legacy like people have done who've changed the world. That's great. But what does it ultimately matter? How does that ultimately change who you are? What are you gaining from that? Now, I'm not saying that you don't strive for those things or go after them, but you start to think about it in a different way. You start to consider it in a different way. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? What are you truly living for? Are you even living at all? Or are you just stuck in a cycle that continues to just go round and round and round without you being able to break out of it because of whatever reason that you have? There's so many different reasons. You feel hopeless. You feel trapped. You have anxiety. You're depressed. You feel like a failure. What's the point of life? Life is meaningless. I used to have all these thoughts. I I used to think these things. Once I started to think more about my own mortality, how frail I actually am, my life started to change. I started to perceive the world differently. I started to look at things in a different light, because now all of a sudden, I'm putting it into perspective that I only have so much time left on this earth. And once that time is up, it's over. So, do I want to continue living life frustrated, stuck, feeling trapped, hopeless, burdened? Do I want to keep doing that? Or do I want to let that go and enjoy life for what it is? You have that choice to make. You should be making that choice every day. If you can get yourself to think about that on a consistent basis, putting it into perspective and not in a way that is demoralizing or degrading or bringing you down, not in a way that brings despair and hopelessness, but as a reminder to really live the way that you want to live, to go in and to start doing the things that you know that you need to do to live a life that is full of peace and happiness and fulfillment, joy, doing what you love, being the person that you know that you are. It's to stop running from it, to stop hiding from it. One of the issues that we have is we think that life is just going to continue moving forward. It always has up until this point. From the day you were born until this moment right now, life has just constantly moved forward for you without any real indication that, hey, there's an end that's coming up. And so we don't think about that end. We see it all the time. Anytime that you go out in public and see an elderly person, it's staring you in the face. That person only has so much time left on this earth. They have gray hair and wrinkles. Maybe they walk a little slower. Maybe it's harder for them to get around. They're getting much closer to that final breath. And we see that, but we don't even take that into consideration. We don't even think to ourselves, hey, one day I'm going to be that person. One day I'm going to be that old man or woman shuffling along, doing my best to keep up, doing my best to get out, to continue to live life. We don't think about that. We just go on thinking, oh, I'm young. I feel great. Life is good. We don't even consider that end is coming up. And because we don't do that, we take every breath for granted. We take every single day for granted. We just move along thinking that this is just going to continue like it always has. But it won't. At some point, it's going to end. At some point, you're going to be dust. You will be ground back down to dust. Your body might become ashes. You might be put in the ground. However, you and your family see fit for your departure. But one day it's going to end. One day you will no longer be here on this earth. You're going to say goodbye. People are going to shed tears. It'll be a sorrowful moment, but it could be a moment of joy for you. It depends on how you look at it. Depends on how you frame it. But one day it's going to happen. Whether you want it to or not, one day it's going to happen. Even if they create some sort of technology that increases your longevity and your lifespan, one day you're still going to die. You're not safe from it. There's no escape. It's going to happen. So instead of running from your issues, from your problems, from your feelings, from your thoughts, the overwhelming emotions that you feel, why don't you start to embrace them? Why don't you start to stare them down? Why don't you start to face them and start to deal with the things that you don't want to deal with? Why don't you start to think about life in a different way? Instead of complaining about everything that's going on, start finding the things that you can be grateful for. Start finding the things that you can be thankful for that are consistently showing up in your life, your friends, your family, the fact that you have a job, the fact that you are being taken care of, the fact that you're just alive. Sometimes that's all it takes, is remembering that, oh, I can still take a breath. I can still breathe. I opened my eyes this morning and I'm still here. That is a gift. But it's a gift that most of us don't even pay attention to. You don't pay attention to it because it just happens all the time. It's just always there. Every time you wake up, oh, here I am. It's just another day. Every time you open your eyes, oh, here's just another morning. Every time you take in a breath, oh, here's just another breath. Just another. That's what you regulate life to. Just another one of these days. Start shaping and shifting that concept. Start thinking about, hey, I got to wake up today. I'm still alive. That's amazing. That's a great gift. Start looking at it like that. If you change your mindset on that, it'll start to shape how you view everything else that you do. It'll start to shape how you view your problems. It'll start to shape how you view those difficult people that you have to deal with or work that you have to deal with. Begin to think about life differently. Now, there's the possibility that if you think about death, it might paralyze you. You might get scared. You might feel like you're not ready for it and you're unsure what's going to happen. There's a lot of questions around it. I get it. That's fine. It's okay to feel that way. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where we're going to go. But that's okay. It's okay. You have to get comfortable with embracing that, allowing yourself to feel it, and be okay with it. To allow yourself to go into that moment and say, it doesn't really matter. I think about this a lot. I think about what happens if I die tomorrow? What happens to my kids? I don't know. But they'll be taken care of. Somehow, some way, they're going to continue to move on through life. Because that's what we do. That's how people maneuver through life. Through tragic situations, through beautiful situations. Either hand, doesn't matter. We continue on. We keep moving forward. So whatever happens, it's all okay. We don't need to be afraid of it. I think that the thing that most people are afraid of is the potential pain that might come with the death. The fear of not knowing what's going to happen next. That's okay. Allow yourself to feel it for a little bit. Allow yourself to go there and have that experience. See what happens. Sit with it for a little while. See how it begins to change your world, change your mind, change the way that you show up and talk to people and have relationships with the different people that you have relationships with. The way this affected me in my life was I was dealing with depression, a lot of depression, extreme depression. And I started to consider death more often. I did some psychedelic experiences that really brought on moments of death experiences, of letting go of the ego, of dying. And as I went through those experiences, and as I thought about it, as I listened to books like Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, Sadhguru's book, Death, The Untold Story, I started to consider, what does this actually mean? What am I afraid of? What is it that's holding me back from living the life that I should be living? Why am I afraid of living as the person that I know I am? Why am I afraid of that? Why am I not out there doing more? Being the person that I know I could be? What fear is holding me back? I started to change my thinking because I started to see that the end is right here and I'm getting very close. I still have another 40, 45, 50 years, hopefully, before that happens, but that's a very short amount of time. It sounds like a long time. 40, 45, 50 years, that sounds like a long time, but it's not. Years will go by like this. Before you know it, you're going to be on your deathbed. So you need to start questioning yourself. What are you living for? What are you living for today? What are you doing with your life? This doesn't mean that you have to go out and do some grand, remarkable thing, but are you even living in peace and joy? Are you even living in a state that you want to live in on the daily basis? Are you in that place where it doesn't matter what's going on with life, you feel good about who you are just because you are? Or are you constantly questioning who you are? Are you constantly questioning what your purpose is, why you're here? Why are things so difficult and hard? Why can't my life just be better? The more that you can begin to think about some of these things and consider this idea that your life is impermanent, that it is going to end fairly soon, the sooner you can move beyond the issues and troubles that you deal with in life. Because you'll start to see that it doesn't really matter. They don't matter. See, most of the time, the issues and struggles that you deal with, you turn into bigger problems in your mind. You begin to create these insurmountable obstacles within your mind, within yourself, because what else is there to do? What other battles do you have? You're creating friction for yourself. When you start to think about your life and death and the fact that it's just a cycle, life and death go hand in hand. At some point, you're going to get to the end. You were born, you're moving through. At some point, you're going to get to the end and die. You start to let go of some of these other things because you realize that it doesn't really matter. Holding a grudge against a family member doesn't matter. What does that do for your life? Holding resentment against a friendship or bitterness because somebody said something, what is that doing for your life? How is that moving you forward in a way that you're able to embrace equanimity, peace, joy, have a sense of freedom for yourself? How does that help? If you're living with those emotions, how is that adding anything to your life? It's not. You're continuing to hold on to them because you think that, this is just going to keep going. But at some point, it's going to stop. At some point, either that person's going to die or you're going to die. Do you want to continue going, leaving things left unsaid? My father died 5 years ago now. And I was just thinking a couple of weeks ago, I was like, man, I wish I would have asked him deeper questions. I wish I could have gone in and asked him the deep questions about who he is, what he really believes about life. I mean, we talked about stuff, but it wasn't like these deep, pointed, surgical questions to try to get as much wisdom out of him as I could, or to understand him the best that I could. And now, when I look back on it, there's these moments where I'm like, oh, I missed that moment. I can't get that moment back. It's gone. Now, I'm not in shambles because of it. It's not ruining my life because I didn't do that. But I consider that now, and I think about that now. I'm like, I only have a certain amount of time left. How am I going to spend it? Am I going to spend it in depression like I used to? Am I going to spend it filled with anxiety and fear like I used to? No, because I see that death's door is right here, and I'm about to start knocking on that door. And pretty soon I'm going to grab that door knob, and I'm going to twist it, and I'm going to open, and death's going to be there, sticking his hand through. We're going to grab hands. I'm going to go through the door, and then I'm going to close it, and I'm done. I'm out. I'm on a new adventure. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like. So why waste my time on things that don't matter? Why waste my time continually allowing myself to struggle with these deep emotions and thoughts that are holding me back? It's not always just a cut and dry thing. It's not just an easy, boom, flip of the switch. There's so many factors that could go into why you feel the way that you do. It could just be your thoughts, the way that you think about yourself. They're not congruent with living a life of gratitude, grace, peace, joy. Because you've trained yourself how to live in strife and worry and stress, and fear and anger and doubt. You've trained yourself to think that way. So it might not just be an instant switch. There might be instances where you are deficient in certain vitamins and minerals. I just listened to a podcast the other day with somebody talking about if you can change your diet and start getting the right supplements into your system, it can begin to change how you feel about life. I don't know that it can necessarily change everything, but it can have a physiological shift within you that starts to maybe move you down the right path. That might take time. It doesn't matter which path you go, what's going on. Are you willing to decide that you're no longer going to accept the life that you're living, and you're going to start to choose to live the life the way that you want to live it? A great way to do that is to remind yourself of your imminent doom, your mortality. Because guess what? You're not immortal. You're not going to stick around forever. The sooner you can start to understand that, the sooner you can begin to break free from the matrix, if you will, and begin to live life the way that you want to live it. This doesn't mean that you become a billionaire, or that you live in a mansion, or you drive a fancy car. It means that you accept who you are. It means that you accept life for what it is. It means that you can go outside and you can watch the birds and just sink into a rhythm of peace, because you're able to let go of everything that you're holding on to. You start to appreciate the little things. You start to appreciate that life in and of itself is amazing. You can go out and stare at a blade of grass, and if you get so involved in that blade of grass, nothing else matters. You let go of everything that you're holding on to because you're focused on this blade of grass and how amazing it is. How does it grow? How do the cells within the grass create this thing that we call a blade of grass? How does it do that? How does it live? How does it survive? How is it alive? If you get involved with that, it's so simple. It's such a simple process, but it can help you let go of things that you're holding on to. You start to see that these issues that I'm dealing with, they aren't really that big of a deal. I am making them a big deal here in my mind. It's up to you to decide if you want to continue to allow yourself to do that or not. It's your choice to decide if you want to do that. As you start to think about this concept, you start to recognize that every hesitation that you make is a life unlived. And the longer that you go through life doing that, the more regrets are going to stack up. And it's harder to let go of those regrets the longer that you go. This is why people get caught up in past rumination about the glory days. It's remembering their high school days when they were the football team captain, the wrestling champion, the volleyball team champion, whatever it is that you were into. Remembering that and thinking that was the peak of your existence. And out of fear or insecurity or just wrong timing, so many different reasons, you find yourself in a place where you don't feel satisfied, you don't feel fulfilled in life, you think that you've missed it, that you're destined to live out the rest of your life feeling the way that you do right now, miserable, confused, tired, no energy, wondering what the point is, what is your purpose, feeling like you're just slogging through, going to work, getting a paycheck, coming home, what is the point? And as you continue to do that, regrets stack, regrets build. Now you can get to the place where you can stop that line of thinking and you can change how you consider that and look at it, and you can start to create a new relationship with the past and where you are right now in life and how you plan to move forward. But it's understanding that you only have so much time left. The window of time that you have left on this earth is shrinking. It's shrinking. You only have so much time. How do you want to live your life? How do you want to spend the rest of your life? Do you want to continue doing the things that you're doing right now that don't bring fulfillment? Do you want to continue to live how you are right now, where you feel like you're struggling every step of the way, constantly feeling like you made a wrong decision, or if I hadn't done that thing 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, my life would be different. I'd be a different person. Everything would be so much better. There might be aspects of it that would be better, but for the most part, you probably still have some sort of feeling that you do right now. This is the trap that most people suffer with, that most people experience, because we're living future-based or past-based instead of present moment, instead of understanding that right now, today is the gift of your life. The fact that you can breathe in, breathe out is a gift every single time. The fact that you're listening to this is a gift. The fact that you can walk away from this once this video is over is a gift. The fact that you can kiss your loved ones goodnight and goodbye and good morning is a gift. Every single moment is the gift. But we're constantly looking at the past, or you're constantly looking at the future, fearing what's to come, anxiety-ridden, worried, or regretting what you didn't do, bitter that you didn't take chances, resentful at people that you feel like held you back. The choice you need to make is, where do you want to live? Do you want to live in the past? Do you want to live in the future? Or do you want to start learning how to live in the present moment? Part of living in the present moment is understanding that that moment can end at any time. It is not guaranteed. There's no guarantee that you are going to wake up tomorrow. There's no guarantee you're going to make it out of this day alive. You could get in a car accident. You could have so many different situations come up where it's over. There's no way to plan for it. There's no way to prepare. You're just done. And yet most people, many of you watching this right now, are going to just forget what I'm talking about. You're not going to take the time to really consider what this means. And because of that, you're going to continue to struggle. You're going to continue to go through life wondering why it's not going your way. And if that's the choice you want to make, that's fine. That's the choice that most people make. Because going down this road is difficult. Going down the road of staring at your imminent demise is difficult. It's not easy to do. You have to have courage to do that. But if you decide to do that, if you make the choice that, no, I am going to do this, I am going to sit with this, I am going to try to understand what this means for me, it can start to change your life. It pulls you out of your current situation and mentality. It can pull you out of that and start to broaden the way that you view things. Start to give you appreciation for who you are, for where you are, for what you have. Everything that you have is a miracle. Everything that you do, that you're able to do, is a miracle. It really is. The fact that you can just sit there and breathe is a miracle. This goes back to what I just said a moment ago. It's the gift. This one moment right now is the gift. Not the moment that just passed, and not the one coming in just a minute. Right now, that's the gift. You have to start to frame it that way. You have to start to see it that way. You have to think about it, be conscious of it. Bring yourself to this present moment and understand that there is nothing else than right now. However many minutes it's been that you've watched this video, whatever came before is gone. You cannot get that back. Right now is the only moment. Anything that's coming up for you the rest of the day is not real in this moment. It has not happened. You don't know if it's going to happen. You can predict with a certain amount of certainty, but that doesn't mean that it's actually going to play out the way that you think it's going to. It could change at any moment. The only thing that's real is this moment right here, right now. If you're watching this video, it's listening to what I'm saying. It's having the thoughts roll around in your head about what I'm saying, considering them, thinking about them, deciding whether you want to integrate them or not. That's the only real moment right now. It's not yesterday. It's not tomorrow. It's not an hour ago. It's not an hour from now. It's right now. That's it. And the truth, that's all you ever have. When you start to consider death, when you start to think that you are just a breath, and that's it, no more. A snap of the fingers, a blink of the eye. That's all you are. That can change your life. It changes how you relate to this moment because you see that this moment is the gift. So many people want to leave a legacy. They want to have a legacy. But a legacy isn't about being remembered. It's about living right now. It's about being present and alive right now. Being who you truly are right now. That's what will leave a legacy. If you're striving to leave recognition behind so that people will know who you are, what does it matter? Why do you fight? Why do you struggle? Why do you strive for that? What does it matter? Nobody cares. Nobody's going to care. There might be a select few in the next few centuries or millennia who might give some sort of thought or credence to who you were and what you did. But the majority of people won't care. You know why? Because they have their own problems. They have their own issues that they're trying to get over. They're not really going to care about who you were or what you did. So why are you striving for that? Let it go. My personal belief is that if you can let that go, it's more likely that that would happen. Because now you're just able to live. Now you're able to live in the moment. Like I said earlier, it's not that you give up on doing things or achieving or going after or building, whatever it is that you do. It's not that you give that up, that you just stop doing it. So you start to do it with a new perspective. You start to do it with a new mindset that allows you more freedom, more room to breathe and be okay with some of maybe the choices that you know you should make, but you're too afraid to make. You can start to let go of some of those things. Start to step into who you are. But it's your choice. You have to make this decision. You have to make the decision whether you want to listen to what I'm saying, consider it, reflect on what I've talked about, or to not do that, and to continue moving through life the way that you have. Those are your options. You already know what that second option leads to because you're living it right now. You've been living it for however long. Some of you have been living that for years without any sense of hope or freedom coming down the line. I used to feel that way too. I thought I was just stuck in depression. It was never going to end. I was going to live and be that way until the day I died. There's no hope from that torment of my mind. But that wasn't true. I was the one allowing myself to stay in that place. There's so many things that I could have done to help me get out of that place. But I didn't do it because I kept self-sabotaging. I kept dragging myself down. I kept quitting too early. I kept convincing myself that whatever I was trying wasn't really going to work. I might as well just accept that this is who I am. This is how it's going to be. And then I started moving forward and progressing and taking bits and pieces of different things that I was learning. And then I started to really understand this concept of my own mortality. That I am going to die. One day I will no longer be on this earth. As much as I would like to live forever, one day I'm going to die. I'm going to end the chapter of my life. I'm going to move on, and I may never be remembered. Okay. Well, what does that look like then if that's the case? What does your life look like if that's going to happen? Because it is going to happen. For me, I started thinking, well, why am I holding on to all these things then? Why am I not enjoying my children the way that I could be? My relationships the way that I could be? Why am I not living my life the way that I could be? Because I only have so much time until it's over. And then once it's over, that's it. There's no going back. I can't change any of it. Do I want to be 80 years old, 85 years old on my deathbed, regretting not living life because I was too afraid or insecure or angry or bitter or depressed or worried or doubting myself? Do I want to look back with regret and wonder why I didn't do more to try to be with my children, take care of my family, to help people the way that I knew how, whatever that looked like? Do I want to get to that place and just feel that way because it's coming up soon? Or do I want to change how I view myself within the world, knowing that I only have a certain amount of time left? Why am I living in fear or doubt? Why am I afraid of failure? Why am I allowing myself to continue to live in the cycle of depression when there's so much more to live for? Just going outside and looking at nature. Wow, look how amazing it is. There's so much out there. Why am I allowing myself to continue to stay in the cycle of depression when there's beauty all around me? If you can start to get to that place, your life will begin to change. It will. If you can keep yourself in that place, stay focused, keep yourself focused in that place, you can start to change your life pretty quickly, pretty drastically. Just most people give up before they experience the freedom that they're looking for because it doesn't happen soon enough. They don't experience it when they think they should. So they give up. They start to think, well, it's not working for me. There's so many books. There's so many people who talk about this concept. There's so many examples of people in the world who were struggling in life and changed their life drastically from the point of struggling to the point of massive success. Not even financially, just massive success in their life. Breaking free from depression and living a life of peace for themselves. Living life on their terms. That is success. Being okay with who you are, regardless of what's going on, that's success. You have to start seeing it that way. You have to start understanding that when you can get to that place, that is success. Success isn't having all the things that you think you need to have. It's being okay with you. This brings me to that quote by Tom Bilyeu that I believe I've said in the past. The only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. If you can get to that place, life will open its doors for you because it doesn't matter anymore. It's not about striving. It's not about gaining. It's not about attaining. It's about being you and being comfortable with being you, whatever that looks like. It's different for everybody, but it's getting to that place. I hope this makes sense. I hope this challenges you in a way that maybe you haven't been challenged before. To start thinking about your life in a different way. To start thinking about who you are and how you live in a way that maybe you haven't considered. There's a great psalm, it's Psalm 90:12, says, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Beautiful. Teach us how to see the end of our lives so that we can live from a place of wisdom and understand that soon this is all going to be gone. That very, very soon it's all over. You're not going to have to worry about anything anymore. But as you start to see that, you start to shed and let go of all the things that you're holding on to anyway. I hope this excites you. I hope this empowers you to begin to take hold of your life, start moving forward in the way that you want to move forward. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope you have a great day. If you enjoyed today's episode, first of all, I would like to say thank you for watching or listening. The second thing I would like to do is ask you for a huge favor, and that is for you to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe or follow my channel, and probably most importantly, share with your social network so that together we can work on changing the world and making it a better place. Again, thank you for watching or listening, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.